And Srijan is setting up. Perfect. Also, just so that everybody knows, we've mentioned this before, but we are live streaming this to YouTube. But there will be no faces. They won't be able to see you. They'll just see Srijan, myself for a little while before I hop off. And they will hear us present. So I will go ahead and let Srijan take over and sit. I'll be in for a little bit, but probably hop off.
Alrighty. First of all, welcome everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me. My name is Srijan. I will be doing the seminar on college admissions. And let me just share my screen for our presentation. That's okay. So mute the Zoom camera. So yeah, welcome to our seminar on college admissions. I'm going to go through these PowerPoint slides, agenda for today. And a little bit about me before we do that. My name is Srijan. I've been teaching here at KT Byte for about a year and a half now. I recently taken on a full-time role doing some product research here at KT Byte. My background is computer science and industrial engineering, and I have a motley of research experiences in academic labs at universities like Cornell Tech, Northeastern, Samhurst. And I also have industry experience at PTC in Boston, Vanguard, the financial company, and Toyota, the company. I'm really passionate about computer science, and I have a lot of specializations like project management, autonomous vehicles, and just product research in general. Okay, so that's a little bit about me, and hopefully I find out more about you guys as we go through this seminar. Okay, so
One
today we're going to
second.
talk.
I see from the chat there are some people unable to see the slide. If you are able to see the slide or unable to see the slide, can you let us know in the chat? I want to make sure that everyone can see the slideshow on their screens. So just see, you can send a can. Okay, cool. Can. Cool. Okay, go ahead, Srijan, and I will reach out to Srila.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to reshare my screen again. So what goes into applying to college? We're going to be covering all these things in sort of comprehensive overview. We're going to be talking about discovering what students want to do. In this room, the majority of people will want to do computer science. We're going to be talking about extracurriculars that you can do to make your application more appealing to colleges, personal skill building, summer programs, and choosing a school, which we're going to be talking about pretty extensively today. And all the factors that go into choosing a school and the college application process as well. Okay. So you may have all heard about test scores and GPA. These are pretty important. These are the objective criteria that colleges will use to evaluate. But there has been a recent push in recent years to make the ACT and SAT more optional. With that being said, the majority of our students do take it. It still can be impressive, but it's not worth stressing or other points. Extracurriculars and personal statements can be just as meaningful or more meaningful. And the important thing to remember here is that admissions are holistic. So what that means is colleges are going to look at every single part of the application. They're not going to look at just test scores. They're not going to look at just your GPA. So while they are important, they're not that important anymore. Okay. And in this seminar, we're going to be focusing on the other parts of the whole college admissions package. So as you go into college, you're going to want to really think about what your student wants to do and what they really enjoy doing. Okay. Um, this happens before high school and can happen going into high school and even beyond. But in general, at every stage, you should be finding activities that hold some sort of personal appeal. So this can be some sort of activity that you join, a club, part of school, and you want to be as unique and don't try to do what everyone else is doing. And there's also no need to try and do everything. You want a spike, okay? You want a spike in your application. And you should really ask yourself, is this something that you would want to do even after getting into college and into your future, your career? And are there really subjects in school that they really enjoy? So these are all questions that you should be talking with your student, or you should be talking about for yourself if you are a student, how to decide to study in college. Okay. And then comes to the fact of choosing a college. So the factors of choosing a college are degree programs. You might want to see different types of computer science programs if that's what you want to do. There's computer science and humanities degree, which is commonly referred to as a Bachelor of Arts. And then there's computer science and engineering major, which is usually a Bachelor of Science. And some universities also have Bachelor of Technology or Bachelor of Engineering, but those are less. Okay. And in the Q&A, if we want, we can talk about the differences between those things. And specifically, you're going to want to see what type of classes you'll be taking. Some universities have super theory focused computer science classes, and some are more applied. You're going to want to see where the graduates end up after graduating from that university. And that is a main part of the reflection of the degree program at that university. And then you should look into stuff like location, size, cost, campus. Do you want to live in a city? Do you want to live in a country land? And that will also alter your student life, which we're going to talk about later. Another thing to consider is how far are you into deciding your major? Do you really like computer science, or is there a chance that you might switch it? If there's something that you might want to switch into later, does that university offer that? That's another thing that you might want to consider. And these last two, research and internship opportunities, every college has research and internship opportunities, but the way you can access them may be different depending on the size of the school and how approachable the professors are. Okay. And then applying early decision is one of the timelines you can do when you are deciding what college is appropriate to be. Okay.
Hey, John, can you hear
Yes.
me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, I think for some people the voice is still a little choppy. I just want to see, is anybody else experiencing sort of like the choppy, it just, your inflections are, it's not you inflecting, it's your voice. Do you happen to have like headphones you can plug in? The audio, yeah, a lot of people are having some struggles. I think when we were talking, it was shorter sentences, so I don't think I was able to hear the choppiness. I'm more than happy to kind of continue if you wanted to get up and grab some headphones. I can take over for a minute or two.
Um,
Do you happen to have a noise reducer turned on?
Producer, I do not have any sort of extra. Uh,
Could you just lean a little closer to the computer? Maybe that will help.
better. You guys hear me better now? That's interesting. I use this for class every day.
Yeah, it's very okay. From Grace, she said that it sounds a little better when you're leaning closer. So I think even if you wanted to like shut off your webcam, sometimes I will shut off my webcam just so that it's just the slides on the recording. So if you're more comfortable leaning in and talking that way, I think that would be okay too.
Okay. Is this audio better? My webcam is off. Is this better? Okay.
I think that sounds a lot better. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry about that, everyone. Just a weird audio thing happens. Okay, cool. I'll turn it back over to you, Sir John.
All right. So the application materials for this whole process, there's a few things that go into it. We talked about grades, which we said were not that important, and the other stuff is what will create this holistic evaluation. Okay. We have the extracurricular activities, and you, depending on your major, you might want to target your extracurricular activities into something that's related to your major. KT Byte can really help with that if you want to major in computer science, because your extracurriculars are revolving around computer science. And then there's also projects. Projects can range from working as part of a robotics club, do something you do on your side. But in general, you want something that you can show and put on your resume. Is something that maybe you can take a video attached to your application. And in general, these projects can be really valuable when there's something tangible. Okay. And then lastly, leadership positions. Um, Leadership positions can also come from a variety of departments. They can come from school clubs, and they can come from work positions. And being a leader is something that colleges really value in the full application. Okay. So deciding the student life you want in college, this is something that all families should discuss, deciding whether they want to be in the city or the country, and this is going to decide if they're going to use public transit or owning a car. There's universities in both of these environments across the country, so it really does come down to personal preference. You're going to want to see the types of clubs that exist at that university. Is it a university that allows students to create clubs very easily? Do clubs have funding? And this is something that you can find from forums from that university, or you can also find it on the university websites. Okay. You might want to look into research labs of the specific department that you are applying to. Is there a high research output among the professors? Is the research output not that great? Are they traveling? Are the professors acceptable? Okay. Um, then there's the academic rigor. Okay. The academic rigor comes down to the culture of the university. Um, some universities pride themselves in being extremely hard to pass, and some have a more laid back feeling. Um, yeah. So everyone in this room is applying for undergraduate studies, and these undergraduate studies will have an impact on your future career and studies. Um, for example, depending on the college you go to, there might be specific internships that you go to. If you go to a highly ranked school, companies will give you internships very easily. But if you go to a lower ranked school, you might have to work a little bit harder and put in a lot of applications for these jobs. And then there's also the networking opportunities. After university, different colleges have different levels of alumni network. Okay. Um, and you might want to depend on this network depending on your future career direction. Okay? Then there's graduate school. Some universities naturally went to graduate school and some do not. For example, public universities, they tend to really promote doing a 1-year master's and going into that research route. It allows you to further develop your studies. And then there's the full-time roles, which is what the majority of computer science majors do. They start working. Okay. So getting ahead in college can be a challenge, but we could make it easier too while you're in high school. So there's a few ways to get it. In general, it comes down to transferring courses or transferring credit to your degree program. Okay. One of these, which many of you all are familiar with, are AP credits. These are exams that are offered in high school, and you take this test at the end of the course in school, and depending on the score you get, you might get credit. Okay. But then there's CLEP exams. CLEP exams are exams that you can take once you are in college but haven't taken the class yet, and these are used for general education requirements. For example, I took the writing CLEP exam when I was in college because I did not have the AP class from high school. Okay. There's also community college. Sometimes it's called dual enrollment with your high school. This is when you take a class at your local community college and then it transfers in. Then there's other transfer credits that you can get really from any university. Any accredited university will be able to give you credits that you can transfer back. But you should also keep in mind some universities have transfer limits, which you should be mindful of as well. Okay. Throughout this whole process, it's important to stay organized. College admissions are not easy. There's a lot of moving pieces. Okay. You want to take into account how hard a school will be for you to get in relative to you. You should check whether it has your major or a backup major. You should see how many recommendations it has, any SAT requirements, and different deadlines. College admissions are pretty standardized these days, but there is still some variability, as you can see on this spreadsheet. The admissions deadlines range from November to January. Okay, so staying organized, I recommend a spreadsheet like this would be useful, but this will look different for everyone. Okay. All right. How can KT Byte help? So KT Byte's biggest contribution to your college admissions will be preparing you for college level material. All right. Our courses are really hard. And the material that you see at KT Byte courses will often make your first semester of college very easy. In general, in college, you'll see that the people who have been coding since they were younger are already ahead when they're not seeing the material for the first time. Okay. And rather than learning material, KT Bike can sometimes offer work experience if you are a TA, and that can be useful for your resume. And that can also be, and we also offer competitive programming classes. Competitive programming classes meeting USCO, United States Computing Olympiad, which also look impressive. Okay. Then we have research and data analysis experience from our Python classes and classes. And lastly, we have the letters of recommendation if you are a teaching assistant with us. So to advance TS pathways, there are many options for those who want to make TS part of their story in a more advanced manner. We have these competitions, we have research, we have the mentorship roles and extracurriculars like robotics, and we have opportunities in PT. Next, we're going to talk about some summer programs. These summer programs are not affiliated with us at KT Byte, but if you search computer science summer programs, these are some that show up. All right, CMU and MIT Beaverworks, these are some pretty famous ones. Then you also have MITRE, which many people do internships at, Notre Dame, YYGS tech program, and Cosmos, which is more STEM for you. And we talked about a lot this seminar, but in general, the niche is that you should be building your story. Be honest with yourself about what you want and do your best to learn what's out there. And if you ever need advice, you can talk to the instructors at KT Byte. You can seek advice from a mentor or college counselor at your school. And you want to see how you can stand out to schools as a well-rounded person, but with their own uniqueness as well. All right. So we have a Q&A now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right. So I'll take Q&A now. One question in the chat said, how can my kid become a TA? Yeah, so we have an application for a teaching assistant. And if you email us, we can work with your kid to see if that's a good fit. I'll send the email address. And then our recruiting team. Can you explain a bit about the opportunities at KT Byte? Opportunities at KT Byte. Yeah, so opportunities at KT Byte include taking competitive programming classes. That will be really good for USICO, and we also offer research classes, which will help with data analysis in future labs. Will these slides be available? No, these slides will not be available. Any other questions? Can you share your smart list program again? Sure. I just sent the list of summer programs. What percentage of admissions is based on SAT and ICT scores? That is going to depend. Okay. Every college will be different, and the best way to learn about that is going to admissions website. Which hackathons are good for participating? So any hackathon is good for participating at this level. Um, in general, that just means you took initiative and you were able to learn on the go, which is a really important skill in college. Another question says, you mentioned that a portfolio can be part of your college application. Can you talk about, can you talk more about that and what kind of things can be in a portfolio? Is this like computer programs you have to? Yeah. Okay. So when we say portfolio, we mean portfolio in all these things. It's not like a visual design portfolio. Portfolio just means all the things that you've done in some sort of medium that you can represent it. This might be in the form, for most people, it'll be in the form of a resume. Okay. And this will be basically outlining your projects, anything that you've done. So yes, it can include computer programs that you've designed. Um, it can include maybe teams that you've led and other products that you worked on. For example, maybe you worked on an obstacle course for a robotics team. Maybe you want to take a picture of that and show that off. Okay. So yeah, that's a very loose definition of portfolio. But yeah, it can basically be anything that maybe relevant to your application. I know when I was in college, I had a friend of mine who was really into martial arts, and they took a video of their martial arts techniques and to college, and that was just a way to show. Anything else? My eighth grade kid finished Core 5B and is going to take Core 6A and 6B this summer. How do I know which AP classes are at his level and high school suitable for him to take? So all AP classes are suitable for high school. In general, you should follow the school's prerequisites. The school will have prerequisites depending on their requirements. Typically, for example, for AP Calculus, you have to take 4 years of math, so you take that in your 12th grade. For AP Computer Science, it's really varied depending on. Okay, but in general, if they took 5B, they will be they're prepared. As far as we're concerned, they're prepared to take any AP class, but you should talk to the school. Anything else? Alrighty. Yeah, so thanks so much for attending our seminar. We do have an exit poll that we have to everyone do, so I'm going to send that out. This will be useful for feedback. Okay, and I just sent the exit poll. So please do this. Um, your feedback is important to us about these seminars. And if there's no one has any more questions, you all are free to go. If you do have questions, feel free to stick around and I can answer them. Looks like all the questions are dried up. So I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll hopefully talk to you some of you soon. Bye, everyone. And I'll be around for a few minutes in case anyone has questions. Mengyao or CTW, do you guys have questions? No? All right. Okay, Mengyao. I'll see you later, okay? Bye.